Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to our TGIF Talks, episode 186. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by co-host, well, not co-host, well, getting there, Rondo.
Hello.
Alright, let's, you can't see it, but the intro is here, and it's gonna roll. You know, I've got a stack of $half here on my desk, and I always thought $half, you know, they felt really big and bulky. And then I now have a stack of Eisenhowers on my desk, and I pick up the Eisenhower and compare it to the $half, and I go, whoa. The Eisenhower, you can actually you could feel the heft compared to a $half. Yeah. I bought a roll because A, I don't have any $half for my collection behind me, and B, I bought this a while ago, but I was just fidgeting with it, and B, I'm looking for the bicentennials because I want to get not all, but as many of the variations of the coins as I can get, the mainstream coins. So bicentennials are. You see them all the time when people bring in $half, but like they usually bring in a ton of coins, so it gets thrown into the machine, and then they're just gone to the wind. Can't get them back. You're just like,
wow. Forever.
Yeah. But oh well. Anyways, how are you?
Oh, I'm swell. Just another delightful Tuesday afternoon in life.
Well, see, you had an afternoon off too, like I do.
I go into work early.
Oh, how early?
Like 6:30. So it was about an 8-hour day.
Oh, they don't make you take a lunch.
Yeah, like I set my own hours, so if I really wanted to, I could, like, I don't know how to phrase this properly. It's more based on how your work gets done, than like you have to set, have set hours. Like technically, as a graduate student, you're supposed to only work 20 hours a week, and then the other 20 is supposed to be classes. But it's more like you work 40, and then whatever's left over, you do classes.
Oh,
but
how nice.
Yeah, so there's really no set schedule. It's more about if you get your work done, you set it. I just like getting done early in the morning and then coming home early in the afternoon, so it's usually what I prefer.
Fair enough. Well, see, you don't have to take a lunch. See, I would have to take a lunch during that because of the law.
I don't have to take a lunch. I usually just eat lunch while I'm running some code. Is usually what I do.
Which is why I'm 8 to 5 instead of like 9 to 5. Because they make you. Yeah. They never. Because I guess it must be other places where it's like you get like a half-hour paid one, and so you work 9 to 5, but half of that hour you're not working, but you're still getting paid for it. I don't know. Not sure how it works for other places. Why the whole 9 to 5 thing ever came up, or is that back when they didn't give people breaks?
Yeah, I don't know why that was established.
Yeah, so I mean, I obviously I know,
silly.
I mean, I know why 9 to 5 is a thing, the whole factory worker thing, but like they were working 12-hour shifts, so I don't know what union decided to make it 8-hour shifts, but then not. No lunch? I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't really bother me.
You're in a tough position where as you have pretty set hours as a business compared to some other ones. You could maybe people could come in at different hours and get work done.
Yep. You know, factory or anything like that.
Doesn't really help you.
No. Nope. I have to be there for the people. I always thought it was the most interesting thing, right? So you're a small business, right? Let's say you have to deal with I don't know, regular ass people, right? Not businesses. Yeah. Okay, so you set your hours 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, like a dentist office or whatever. How the hell do you expect anybody to make it out of their work day to come to you? Like the DMV.
That's how the hours at Grand Forks are for about everything. Everything, just your 8 to 5, no matter what. So it's tough scheduling.
Yeah, I realized it when I first started working, the regular hours, And I realized, it's hard to make it anywhere. You just take for granted that Walmart and other places that they're open later than that. Yeah. But the bank or the doctors, oh God, no, they're not going to do that. Hell, my dentist isn't even open on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, or the weekends, and you're just like, well, how the heck are you expected to make it in to your appointments? Well, then,
if it's
and then
blocked out,
and then your work gets upset that you have to block out time, and you look at them like, have you tried to make it to these appointments? No, you can't, because everyone works the same hours. So naturally, as a part of society, somebody's got to bite the bullet and not work the regular times.
Mm-hmm.
Like my hair appointments. Luckily, she has like 2 days a week where she'll work till 6:30. So I go in at 6. That way I don't think it.
Kind of interesting. I'm sure that was also another thing that was established over time. I'm sure it used to be you just like it didn't line up at all, and if you couldn't get in, you couldn't get in.
Well, I think a lot of that changed during the workers' rights thing back in the early 20th century, because everybody would work 12-hour shifts, and I don't know, and so you might have just gotten stuck on a crappy 12-hour shift,
and
so, which is why they always call it banker's hours. It's like, oh, that's the pinnacle of hours, because the banks back in the day, I'm sure they did not really care. They were open 8 to 5 or whatever hours they wanted, or whatever hours the government told them to, and that was it. Now, banker's hours, my ass. I still have to work Saturdays. So
rotated Saturdays.
Yeah, but it's still an inconvenience. I mean, it's nice in some regards because it gets my ass out of bed. But I just hate having to go to bed early on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels dumb. You're just like, why? What's the point of this?
Do you feel like you sleep a lot more than when you were in college?
Yeah. Oh God, yes. College, something changed between college and now. But I have to get way more sleep now, otherwise. But I'm also beginning to realize how much I actually slept during the day. Unintentionally, intentionally, whatever the case may be. It happened way more frequently than I ever realized. How much you slept through class. And then when I was working at the co-op, I was like, when I started working at the bank,
the co-op.
Yeah. But when I started working at the bank, I realized, oh my God, I have to go to bed a little earlier than I was at the co-op. But then I realized, oh yeah, I was sleeping for like an hour or more at the co-op every damn day. And I was like, oh.
You sure did.
Of course, so that I could stay up later. Because I was going to bed at like 11 or like whatever. But then I got to the bank and I tried going to bed at 11 and it wanted to kill me. And I'm like, oh, all right, we better switch to 10.
Yeah.
So.
Is there an age where people like start sleeping more, do you know, or is that pretty variable?
It's definitely variable, but I would guess it starts in your mid to late 20s. I'm a little soon to the thing, but I'm also out of shape and work a desk job, so. But I would bet that's where it starts. It's the weirdest thing with humans, right? So everybody, people wait to have kids later and later, and like I think the standard age is like 25, 26 for your first kid, and even then that's starting to become even earlier. Yeah. And but you make the point, you're already 5 years past your prime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your prime is, for guys, 18 years old.
In reference to what?
Physical condition.
Pretty sure. I thought it was early 20s. I thought reaction time is like 18.
Oh, no, your reaction time is from the moment you're born, it declines.
What is your source?
You can look it up. Look it up. Reaction times. Reaction times. What you see in gaming, anyways, is you see a curve. Is skill level increases, but reaction times decrease. And so, right in the middle of where those two curves meet, that's where the optimum age is, which is like 16 to 18. 18 is actually kind of old. That's why all the people that win the Fortnite tournaments
the average best reaction time is 12 to 15.
Well, yeah, but babies are faster than that. Trust me.
It says 24 is the fastest.
For reaction time?
That's what it says.
Really?
Declines after. You looking it up?
Yeah. When does reaction time peak? Age 24. Blaze Pod. What is that? Hold on. Blaze Pod?
I saw a couple that said 24, but
let's go to PBS.
PBS.
Age 24. There you go, from PBS. Well, I trust public broadcast over anybody else.
Well, now you know.
Oh yeah, I always forget they're sponsored by BNSF and the CPD. No, that's B. Oh, Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Oh. Guard. What is that? I almost thought when I almost looked over, the BNSF logo kind of looks like a Raytheon logo, and I could have swore they were being sponsored by war profiteering companies. And I was like, what?
It's the bell.
You telling me Raytheon's making Clifford the Big Red Dog? This week on Clifford. Clifford goes to visit a missile factory.
Oh, Clifford.
Oh, man. He'd make a mess in there. He'd kill some people. He's like a dinosaur. He is a dinosaur.
Clifford?
Yeah, he's literally like a medium-sized dinosaur.
How big is Clifford anyway?
Oh, well, I guess you always have to remember in the cartoon, like, the girl's like 6. So Clifford isn't actually as big as you might think. But I think he's like 12 feet tall.
I was going to say, Clifford's still pretty big. He's not Godzilla, but he's pretty large.
25 feet!
That's a big boy. Big dog.
From paws to head. His size is inconsistent, though. 25 feet! Oh my god. He's taller than a T-Rex.
That is a big doggo.
Because how tall is the T-Rex?
Gotta be like 20 feet. It might be like 20. It might be 28 or so. It might be
12 to 20 feet. Because I was gonna say, I think I remember it was pretty consistent in up to 40 feet in length. Yeah. Because I just remember reading, well, not reading, but when I'm listening to Jurassic Park, he always says like 20 feet. Like,
are you still on book 2 for that?
Yeah. It book 2. I don't know. It's starting to have some similarities to the movie, but not really. The antagonists are completely different.
I'm pretty sure it's, after the first book, it really just dives away from it.
Yeah, and they're not really even antagonists. They're just there.
Yeah.
Now, I guess there isn't... I haven't gotten to... They have the baby in the trailer. Its leg still broke, but it wasn't because the antagonist... So the antagonist broke its leg, but unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, instead of stealing dinosaurs, they're stealing eggs, just like in Jurassic Park 3, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So they're stealing eggs. And so they went to, I think it was myosaurs. Yeah, I think it was a nest of myosaurs. They stole eggs from there. And then, of course, the very second nest they go to is the frickin' T-Rex. And the eggs are huge. So, like, one dude, like, struggles to pick up the egg and, like, carry it.
I'm surprised he'd even be able to, honestly.
Well, they said it was, like, the size of a small beach ball.
I feel like it would be larger than that, honestly.
Well, I will say Michael Crichton's not great with describing size.
Yeah.
He said it was like 2 large ostrich eggs, but that, of course, that might have been the myosaurs. But I don't know. I just imagined a T-Rex egg like literally being like this big, tall, like probably what is that? Like 2.5 feet tall. Probably pretty round. I would say probably. Its diameter probably 1.5 foot, maybe more. That's how I would picture it, because considering how big the infant was.
Yeah.
Oh, and they don't have the down around the neck in the movie. In the book, the baby Tyrannosaur has down around its neck, like feathers.
Yeah.
They don't have that, no, in the movie. So they were only able to steal 1 egg. They tried to steal a second one, but their noise machine, so they had a machine that makes a noise that pisses off the dinosaurs, and it gets them to stay away. And it
kind of like that orca for the Godzilla movies from a couple years ago, you know?
I barely remember that part. I don't know if we watched that part. Did we watch that?
That was the second Godzilla movie with Ghidorah.
We did.
Remember they had that device that could just call across like the entire world.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of them.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We saw a giant mammoth.
Yeah, there was a giant mammoth that came out of Germany, I'm pretty sure.
Right. So they had a device that would piss off the dinosaur and get it to leave them alone, and it barely worked in the T-Rex. But like the guy who was holding it, the cable came undone from the battery pack because gotta remember it's 1990s technology, and so the guy makes it away with the egg, but when they're trying to get the second egg, when the other antagonist, he's trying to get the second egg. I think that's when he breaks the leg of one of the baby Tyrannosaurs by stepping on it. And then the thing comes unplugged, and then the last 2 deaths. I guess I don't know if Dogson's dead yet. It made it seem like he's unconscious, but then of course one of the guy who survived, who got the first Tyrannosaurus, the first T-Rex egg, he just left him in the jungle for dead. So
for dead.
He paid for it later. What's the name of the dinosaurs that have the round heads?
Round heads.
Yeah, and they like to butt into each other.
No, the Pachyosaur.
The Pachyosaur.
Or Patchy. It's like
there
Apache's name.
Well, they call it something different in the book, but it might have a. There might be a different one because Bronto, they don't have Brontosaurus. They have Apatosaurus. It's a patasaur, starts with an A, but the narrator calls them hepatosaurs. Just gets rid of the or it sounds like it gets rid of the hepatosaurs. And so I'm like trying to look up hepatosaur, not getting anything. So then I just like have it play over the intercom with Google open, and that's when it figures out it's a patasaur.
Interesting.
Because I'm like trying to figure out like what the hell this dinosaur is, because I've heard the last 2 books.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the hell it is.
I don't remember that from Mark.
Right. I'm just like, what the hell is this dinosaur? I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. So, I'm listening to his descriptions, like, very intensely, like, okay, what is this thing? And I'm like, sounds like a Bronto. But I'm like, I'm not sure if it is. So eventually I was able to Google it. Took me to the second book to do that. Need like a dinosaur book just sitting there. Just like they had, just like the hunter had in Jurassic Park 2. Mm-hmm. He had the pamphlet that he threw away. Because they were gonna say apatosaurs in I think he was gonna say it in the movie, but he didn't. But you know, he made the joke about, oh, I can't say this shit. Just threw it away. He's like, the big one.
The big one.
Yeah. So so he runs into a pack of the Apaches, and you still get them slamming into the Jeep and shutting the door, but that doesn't. He was outside of it by that point. He got away. The Raptors find him.
That'll do you.
It was the most graphic description I think he has given yet. Because it's all from this guy's point of view. Usually it's like third person. And it's like, his head was ripped from his body. Then, his arm was ripped from his body. Then his head was just, I think one of the best descriptions was his wristwatch glistened in the sun as it hung from his wrist between the jaws of the Tyrannosaur. And you're just like, bruh. All right.
It's pretty descriptive. Paints a nice picture.
This one, he gets tackled by the Velociraptor. And, oh my god, it got so in-depth. Like, he had like a moment of like peace before he died. Mm-hmm. It was I was actually getting like, I'm like sitting there, I just parked my car. I'm like coming inside. This is right where I left off today, and I'm just like, okay, this is
enough for today.
This is a bit much.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I'm just sitting there like, I'm actually getting a little lightheaded listening to him describe this guy's death in excruciating details. Eddie hasn't died yet. So, I don't know if he dies.
Interesting. Surprised he didn't just die.
So, Eddie is still in there. But, Levine is... He's a character that's not from the movie. And then, Kip Thorne. Dr. Thorne. He's also not in the movie. I don't remember. Does the videographer die?
Videographer.
I just watched it. Owen.
I think he does. Doesn't one of their group die and it's not Vince Vaughn? Or is Vince Vaughn might be the videographer, actually.
Well, because Owen is his name. His name was Owen. They've used Owen twice in these damn movies. His name was... I just watched the movie. I think he does. I think a raptor gets him.
Is he like the main guy who talks out of that group that went there? That was not like the girl and the guy.
That wasn't Ian and Hardy?
Yeah.
Probably, because Eddie was the bald one. He was the one that got killed by the Tyrannosaurs.
Oh, yep. Then he lives in the movie because it's Vince Vaughn.
Oh, he does live.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn lives in the movie. You just don't see him for a while, so you're not sure if he died or not, but he lives.
Okay, because I couldn't remember. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I don't from the way it almost seems like the book's gonna kill off Ian.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just the only people left because the kids were taken to the High Hide with Levine and Kip Thorne. Actually, I don't think it's Kip. That's actually a scientist. But his last name is Thorne. Dr. Thorne and Levine go up to the High Hide. I think, and Eddie's with them. Actually, I'm not sure if Levine's even with them, to be honest. The more I think about it, I think Levine is out doing something. He's off researching. Because he's all like, it needs to stay pure and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they left Ian and Harding to bandage up the baby. I remember reading. Decided to read a subreddit about it, and they were just like, "Yeah, book 2 is very technical." Like he spends a lot of time talking about dinosaur behavior.
Yeah.
And there's these long conversations between Ian Malcolm and Levine as they're discussing dinosaurs. And it's always interesting when when the narrator switches to a different character, like one of the bad guys. Or bad guys. In this case, these three guys were they're just some. They actually have not interacted in any way with the main cast. They haven't. They knew the main cast. I guess they interact with Sarah Harding because they get her to the island. Well, I'd say they get her most of the way there, and then they throw her overboard of the boat to kill her. But she lives.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then, because there's cameras all over the island, they're able to find her. The good guys.
I forget, do they go to the second island in this, or is it somewhere else?
They do. That's why it's called Lost World. They do go to Isla Sorna.
Okay.
They actually
about that.
The whole very beginning of the book, the first maybe quarter of the book, I feel like, is them trying to figure out is there another island? What's the other island? And it's very interesting. Ian, I figured at some point, would tell them explicitly that, oh yeah, I went on a whole tour with of the Jurassic Park thing. But he just gives exposition. They're just like, okay, makes sense. They don't really question him, how do you actually know? I think he said he did some consulting, but he doesn't get very descriptive. And
well, wasn't it public knowledge that he went?
No.
After? I thought it just wasn't public that people died.
So in the books, everything is under wraps. Nobody knows there's dinosaurs. Nobody really knows these people went.
Interesting.
They do mention Grant one time in the book. In Lost World. One time. At least so far, anyways. They just did it today. And they did it to shit on him. Or it actually might have been yesterday. They were talking about... because the guy who gets torn apart by a Tyrannosaurus Rex... They were talking about, why the fuck did he freeze? Why did he freeze? He just stood there. And, well, they had read an article that said T-Rexes can't see movement because their brains are like that of a frog's.
Mm-hmm.
And Levine, who was like the head paleontologist, is just like, those idiots. It's a predator. It has to be able to see movement. It couldn't survive otherwise. They're about like Grant, who recently published a paper where he said Tyrannosaurus would get lost in the rain.
Tough.
And he's like, that makes bullshit sense. The T-Rex lived on the next to the inland seas, next to the Rocky Mountains, up by Montana, where Montana is now. That's where the T-Rex lived. And he's like, thunderstorms often happen next to the sides of mountains, since the Rockies were there at that time. Or the beginnings of the Rockies. And so he's like, of course they're going to see thunderstorms. It's not that dry. So yeah, it just shits on Grant in like one sentence. And I'm like, all right. Oh, man.